Hello, guys, and welcome back to Geeking Out.
Hey.
Obviously, Robbie's here,
Yep.
and
Okay.
me again. Um, this one may be out a little bit later. We're recording a bit late, but that's fine. We are aiming for Fridays, but this should be out. Hopefully, I'm going to get it out on Saturday. If not, you're going to be waiting it till Monday, and then you're just going to have two in the same week. But yeah.
Just deal with it.
So yeah, we're not changing topic too much this week. We're kind of still focused on the whole film thing. We're trying to
Yeah.
do
Just this time
films of last year.
we're just talking about the best films of 2017 this time.
Yeah, obviously, maybe not some of the best ones, but more of a review of last year because I'm sure some people aren't going to agree with some of the films that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I guess in a way this is more the ones that we think are the best.
Yeah, me and Robbie have chosen a couple that we've seen and that we enjoyed. I didn't really see any last year; I only saw two, so I'm talking about the two that I saw. But I enjoyed them when I watched them.
And I just narrowed my choices down to two.
Yeah,
But I've watched basically all of them. Every film of 2017.
yeah. There was so many I wanted to see. I just never got around to seeing them.
I mean, it's probably like two films I did not see last year were Get Out and It,
Oh
which
God,
like
get.
it for me was more because I'm not a big horror person.
I don't do horror
It's
at all.
no, I'm just not at all. And then Get Out was just kind of like I don't want to go near that. I'll have nightmares if I watch that.
That did seem like a really creepy film.
Yeah, just the premise alone would get the shit out of me. But then there was other good films out that year, like films like Logan,
Yeah, it
which
did seem pretty good.
yeah, even if you haven't seen it, you know that Logan was a big film
Oh yeah,
because
it's definitely a big film.
people just kept going on and on about it.
People were
And
excited because they finally gave like the studio an R rating, so they could go a bit wild with Wolverine.
yeah, I mean it does get a bit gory at some parts.
I know I saw one of the like typical like meme things is like give a film an R rating and boobies happen because like within the first few minutes, obviously he's the limo driver to start with, and just some woman gets her tits out. I was like,
Yeah,
yep, yeah, sounds about right.
I just like how they didn't focus on it. Literally, the camera pans to it and then just pans back to him. He laughs and then scene disappears.
Yeah, yeah, they just wanted to put it in there.
Yeah, yeah. So let's get started. Tom, do you want to tell me one of the best films you saw this year?
Well, I think my favorite out of the two actually ended up being Jumanji that I chose because it was just I was really looking forward to it because I've seen the first one. I really enjoyed the first one, even though the first one I think was 1996. It's pretty old, and it
Yeah.
was with Robin Williams, and obviously Robin Williams, great,
Oh yeah.
amazing.
And I do actually like how it was kind of like because you said the first one. I like how it was actually kind of a sequel, not just
Yeah,
like
it
a
was the sequel. They carried it on. They didn't just remake it.
yeah.
I think they kind of. I
Especially
hope
that
the
little.
thing.
No,
Sorry,
you
Karen.
go. Sorry.
Um, I think like I feel like part of that was out of respect for him, like because he died only the year before,
Mm,
and it was just it's nice that they didn't try rewriting what he did.
yeah, because that was one little nice nod to the first film where they kind of show like where the guy is living, that little kind of hut in the forest. It
Yeah,
says Alan Parish was here. I really
yeah,
like that.
yeah. That's that. I'm sad that's the only nod, but there is that nod in there at least.
Yeah, well, there were a few other kind of like bits from the original part. Like I think the villain shared the same name
I don't
as the
think so.
like the hunter,
Did
but
he?
apart from that, it was probably just like little things.
I didn't notice anything else in it. To be honest, it seems so different.
Yeah, well, it'd been a long time since I'd seen
Yeah,
the original.
yeah. No, but no, I loved it. It was, I think they worked like all the actors into it really well. Obviously, Dwayne Johnson, he hasn't really done anything wrong for a good damn while when it comes to his
Oh
acting
yeah,
career. And then Jack Black's funny.
that man. Okay.
Would you
Oh
say?
god, yeah.
Yeah, Jack Black in that film, because obviously in the film, obviously it's the girl that takes over that character, and just seeing him portray that weird, like, just that feminine character when just you look at him and there's nothing like feminine about his body at all, or just anything, and it's just brilliant the way he does it.
Yeah.
And then I was really like happy with the way that they did Kevin Hart, because some, like, I've watched like Ride Along and stuff, and as much as I liked Ride Along, I think they always like, because Kevin Hart is like a big comedian, they like really push for him to try and be funny, and it just feels so forced in things like Ride Along and that. And I know a lot of people didn't like Central Intelligence, but I think he was great in this film.
Yeah, he did kind of play like, because he is meant to be like this huge guy that's been sent into a tiny body,
Yeah,
and I think he does actually kind of play that. Like he's got this huge amount of like confidence and like just the way he kind of goes about everything, but then forgets he's just in this kind of small guy.
yeah, exactly. And he does, and he is that like, he's a big man in a tiny man's body, because he's got this. Kevin Hart is just so blasé about everything. He's just confidence and everything, and that's exactly what he was supposed to be portraying. And I think that's why it
Yeah.
worked so well for this, because there was no forced. Like, the humor worked when they played it in this. It was never felt forced or anything.
Mm. And
I think,
I really like the story of it as well. It was kind of like it was a good kind of story. Like there was lots of people that were saying it didn't need to be a Jumanji film. It could have just been any film and probably would have been just as good.
yeah, exactly. It was, Jumanji just worked for it,
Yeah,
but yeah, it would have made sense like any video game. Like, if they'd been sucked in, if the film was just called anything, it would have just
yeah,
would have worked fine. Because like I said, there wasn't enough nods to the first film to make it where anyone would have been lost.
yeah,
It could, like, the nod in the hut, people that would have watched the first film would have got it, but people that hadn't seen the first one just wouldn't have cared. It wouldn't have
yeah.
confused anyone. It wouldn't have affected the story in any way. And I think that's what
Well, I think
made it so
that
good.
could be a kind of bad thing. Like, I I know it's a good film, but I would have liked to have seen a few bits from like the old one as well, because like you remember like some of the things that just kind of turned up from the
Yeah.
game, like the stampede, the wild vines, uh, the floods, the monkeys, just any of that. I would have liked maybe
Yeah, because they
from.
didn't like show off, like, there was none of the huge mosquitoes or anything. There was none of the, like, the scary plants or anything. And
Yeah.
like, obviously, if that's where Alan Parrish had been living, and obviously he knew about all those things, they must have been around.
Hmm.
So I
I
don't
think
know.
that's probably where they kind of like diverted a bit too much. I think there should have been more of that kind of stuff in there.
It wouldn't have made sense for a sequel, but I think at the same time they didn't want to connect it too much, because they wanted to draw in a new fan base because of how far apart they were.
Yeah.
Because there was, like I said, there was a good like 20 years between them.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Still, I think it does work though.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was just an enjoyable film.
Definitely. So
Don't
yeah,
really.
for me though, one of the films I actually liked, which probably not a lot of people would agree with, is Justice League.
Yeah, see, I think some people aren't so sure about it, but other people really liked it, and I was one of those, like, as much as Marvel films are definitely better than DC films,
Mm,
I don't think I don't see the DC films as bad as everyone else makes them out to be.
Yeah, because I like Man of Steel for me wasn't anything exceptional, but I still like it, and I still like Batman and Superman. You know, when I
Yeah,
came out the
I've
cinema, there were loads of people going like, "Oh, that was rubbish." So I was like, "I liked it."
yeah, I quite enjoyed it.
Mm. And then again with this one, it was like a lot of people going, "It wasn't great." I thought, that was a pretty decent film. In
Yeah,
a lot of ways, it wasn't all too different from what the Avengers were. I think they just kind of had that DC twist, and in a way, it was even better.
I think because DC is a bit more of a darker universe
Mm.
altogether.
Well, supposedly they're actually getting like kind of lighter in tone. Like these first films are meant to be kind of dark and a little bit dreary at some points, like meant to kind of make people see the darker side of the hero stuff. But I think now what it's meant to be is like, you know, they just save the world. Superman's alive again. Spoilers. Um, and everything's just getting better.
Yeah, and I think bringing in like the Flash character, because I think they've gone for quite a like well
Goofy.
a really light-hearted, yeah, goofy Barry Allen, like a really different one to the comics or anything else that's been like. It's definitely completely different to the one that they've put in the TV show.
Yeah. I mean, there's literally one moment in the film that I really love where he just kind of like he goes into the Batcave for the first time, and he goes, it's like a cave. He zips around the entire cave at super speed, comes back to where he was originally, and goes, Batcave. It just makes me laugh because then right after that, he zips off again, and he's just sat in the Batmobile like starstruck.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, it does make
there are
me
so
laugh.
many great things about Justice League for me. Like Wonder Woman kind of brought in the good stuff that she had from her film, but left out all that kind of Mary Sue aspect. Because like if anyone's told you about Wonder Woman, you would know that she was a bit OP by the end.
A bit what?
She, have you never heard the term Mary Sue?
I don't think so.
It's basically meaning that despite everything, you know, no matter what, she's still the strongest
Yeah,
and she's still gonna win. It's basically like Superman, really. Everyone
yeah,
can deal with it because he's Superman, but it was like every now and then he gets weak. Wonder Woman's basically like that, except without the krypton,
yeah,
and it was kind of nice in that film, but it took something away from it. But then in this film, it wasn't an issue so much. It was, I think, it kind of took away that overpowered element to made her a bit more grounded.
yeah. They
And then
conveyed her character a bit more.
yeah, and then anything like with the other characters, I think like the best characters in that film were the Flash and Aquaman. I think they were still trying to figure out how Cyborg worked, kind of like as a character.
Yeah,
But then everybody else we'd already seen, so it was like, yeah, this is pretty good. It's cool. It's all right. I'm looking forward to what they got next, but I didn't like this film. I gotta
yeah.
admit it. I liked it.
It's definitely a film that I want to watch. I want to try and keep up with it because I haven't seen Wonder Woman or Justice League, and I want to try and see if DC can finally pull themselves out of the hole and get to that stage where they can compete with Marvel for films.
I think they still compete. It's just more like everyone knows Marvel is better.
Yeah, that's the
But
thing. As much as Marvel's doing super well with their films at the moment, no one really likes their comics at the moment.
no, DC definitely win comics and animation.
Yeah, exactly. So they've both got their strong suits and they're both fighting each other for superiority.
Yeah. Oh
But
well.
anyway, before we lose track too much,
Yeah.
The other film
Do
that
you
I
watch
got
next?
round to seeing was Power Rangers, and
Oh yeah,
just that big kid in me just absolutely loved it because it's like just as soon as you heard about it, like anyone that used to watch Power Rangers as a kid, you just got excited.
oh yeah,
Any nerd or anything, you're just like, yep, no, I'm down for this. Let's go.
yeah. Because loads of kids watched Power Rangers when they were younger.
Oh yeah, it's still going now. It's on like I don't
Yeah,
know
but
how many different iterations there's been of the bloody thing.
it's not good anymore. It was like when we were kids. That's when it was good. After we got to be like teenagers, starting getting shit.
So I'm not sure. Like, I don't know if that's just because we're too old for it now.
Mm,
Because
I don't
obviously,
know. I've
kids
seen some.
absolutely adore it.
I've
Still,
seen. It's not great, but the movie that was pretty good.
oh yeah, I love the movie. It was pretty much everything I wanted it to be. Just like there was so much like I think. Like I said there was. I think a lot of people loved it because obviously they put in an autistic character, and that was a
Yeah,
huge step, just like for the movie world altogether.
yeah. I mean, it made the character a bit more likable because in the show, Billy was just a bit of a know-it-all.
Yeah, and it made him. Yeah, everyone was just he he was funny with it as well. As much as
Yeah,
obviously you're not supposed, it's not really you shouldn't laugh at him for it. It was just the way that he would come out with things.
yeah.
And then I
It was
know,
good.
yeah, I know they tried putting in a gay character in there, and people weren't too happy about it because they didn't really do anything with it. It was literally she said that she dated girls and that was it. But at the same time, I'm like, I just, I think you've got to put it to the point of yes, I understand you want that equality and everything, but you know what? You don't. It shouldn't be rubbing it in people's faces. If you want that equality, then do the same. You have just you get someone
Just
mention
have
who
a
they
normal
date, and then
character.
just have a normal. Yeah, they just get on with life with it. You
Yeah,
don't make a big deal out of
point
it.
it.
Otherwise, it's just gonna then it just goes over the top.
Yeah, I think the way to do it is to just, because these are teenage characters. It's not like they're just discovering, like, it's not like Billy just discovered he's autistic.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
he'd been dealing with that his whole life. And I think that's what worked with him. He was just a guy who had autism. He wasn't a guy who was suffering because he had basically grown up and gotten used to it.
He'd
And
come to terms with it. He know who he was, and he was making the most of it.
yeah. And of course, a lot of stuff does come a little bit later on. Like some people don't realize something about themselves or they don't notice they have something. And it does become an issue. But these guys, I think they really just kind of lived with it. And I think that was something quite good about them.
Yeah, we didn't need to dwell on these new things that were appearing.
Yeah. Although, if I am going to be honest, with the whole movie in general, I think it moved a bit too quick for me. Like
Yeah,
they
they did
became
kind of just like they spent most of the film like training, and that was about it. And then once the training was done, they had the big fight, and that was the end of the film.
yeah, I feel like they should have had pre-fight because I don't think they had one really. They had like a moment where they met Rita, and then it
And
was
she
like,
absolutely kicked their asses.
yeah, I think there should have been a moment where like they went against the putties, you know, which
Yeah,
would just, and then later on they would go up against the full force of it and be a bit more prepared for it, rather than just roll in with the Zords and kind of tank everything.
yeah. Although I suppose they had like the pre-fight against the putties once, like on top of the mountain, and it kind
Yeah,
of they
I
almost
think
got overwhelmed, and then they ended up just wrecking them because Zack went and got the Zord.
yeah, the Mammoth Sword, which didn't look a lot like a mammoth.
No, the Zords could have been
I
better.
think that was Yeah, that was something we discussed beforehand. Some of the Zords don't quite look like what they're supposed to be.
No. And as much as I
Like,
love the film, I think the suits were a bit over the top. They were way too much CGI. It was just they looked like they could have been real, but they were just there wasn't need for all the sparkles and
they're
everything.
real at some points, I think, but then others just look like It kind of reminded me of how Power Rangers was back in the TV show, like originally, when
Yeah,
you'd know when it was like the actors, and then you'd know when it was like the stunt actors. Like they would just take over, and everything would get really weird.
yeah. Well, some of the stuff's not quite as extreme as the first film, like the original film,
Oh yeah, I remember that.
because it was just really that one was quite over the top and it was weird, and there was just some stuff that in there that was just like super unrealistic.
I still enjoyed that. That's probably because I was young, but
I
you know,
still enjoy it now. When me and Jack first heard about the new film coming out, me and him sat down and we did it. We found a website to watch it on, and we both sat there. We got ready and we started it at the same time. So even though he was at his and I was at mine, we just watched it together, and it's
yeah,
brilliant. And it's just obviously it's all that nostalgia stuff.
yeah. I I like the nostalgia aspect. I like how they kind of brought back what was really cool about the original, but at the same time, I wish they'd mixed up a bit because, like, when I was hearing about this film, I heard it was going to be a bit darker, and I thought, oh, that's a bit interesting, kind of a new twist. It wasn't really dark.
No, there wasn't a whole lot of dark aspects to it, was there?
No,
Like the
still,
only, I suppose the only there was the fact that Billy died for a little bit.
yeah, but they did a classic movie thing, and nobody stays dead forever.
Oh yeah, there was no way he was gonna stay dead,
No, I
but
mean, Billy
was
was one of the longest standing characters in the show.
yeah, he was like the by the end of it, he was like the only main character left.
Yeah, I mean, even when he wasn't a Power Ranger, he was still on the show.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
But
should we move on to the last one quick?
yeah, go for it.
Um, so the last one, like the one I thought that was like really good, was actually obviously another superhero film because it's me. For Ragnarok,
Yeah, I
because
really wanted to see that. Like, it looks amazing.
it was really cool. I mean, Taika Waititi, who is like the director,
Mm.
he completely changed the character of Thor, who was like in the very first film, he was a very serious character, and it was
Yeah, he was a
like,
bit of a dickhead and a bit of a screw up in the first film,
yeah.
wasn't
And
he?
then when he turned up in the Avengers, it was all right. And then in For the Dark World, he was a little bit more comical, and I thought, well, this is better. I like this guy a bit better. And now in like For Ragnarok, he's just funny all the time. Like hanging out with the Avengers has just made him funnier. And I think that's
Yeah,
great because it's just a wacky story, and I love it. It is generally kind of like how people describe it, like Thor kind of crossed into the Guardian of the Galaxy world.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
pretty good. I mean, there are a few points that are just a bit like, did you have to do that? Like,
Yeah,
because obviously they broke the hammer,
yeah,
which
that
is
was
like,
like quite near the beginning, isn't it?
oh, right at the beginning,
Yeah,
like, and I get that was important for the story, but there was like me and my friend Connor, Connor, we
yeah,
discussed it, and it's like, isn't Thor's whole thing like the hammer? You know, I get there's like he is the god of thunder, but he's also the god with the hammer.
oh yeah, that's the whole point. Like, he wields the thunder through the hammer.
Yeah, I mean, like there was this whole kind of story arc in the film where it's like like he has like a vision with Odin, and he's like, "Oh, I can't do it. I'm not strong enough without my hammer." And Odin's like, "Are you the god of hammers? No, you're the god of thunder." It's like, yeah, that makes sense, but still, his hammer was a big thing.
I can't believe they destroyed it. I'm not really sure what they're going to do about that.
Well, I've heard they're like apparently in the Avengers Infinity War, he's gonna have a new hammer. Like he's gonna make a new hammer or something,
Oh, okay then.
which I'm excited about. Mixing it up a bit. Maybe it'll be like the ultimate Marvel Force hammer, which was like a hammer on one side and then an axe on the other side.
Yeah, bit of like a battle axe, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But besides from that one kind of like hammer detail, I really liked it because it was like there was a lot of growth for the character.
Yeah,
Because in a lot of the films, he was like he blindly trusted Loki no matter what. But in this film, it was kind of like he he understood a lot of Loki's tricks. Like he always knew kind of like when he wasn't actually in the room and he was just kind of projecting himself there.
yeah,
And he caught wind of when he was gonna like betray him, which was like another good thing. He kind of got the jump on Loki,
yeah,
and it was just it allowed Thor to just kind of feel like a better character, and it allowed Loki to grow as well because he's a big character.
yeah. And they kind of, I think they're kind of going for this more of an anti-hero thing with him at the moment.
Yeah, because he's in the film. He generally kind of saved the he saved the Asgardians from like destruction right at the end of the film. He's still a bit of a cocky dick about it, but
Well,
you
yeah,
know he did all right. It's just
exactly.
him in Avengers Infinity War that's gonna it's gonna prove what happens with him.
Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna take it all back and just make him into a right dickhead again.
Yeah, but no, besides that, it was did generally enjoy the film. Like I couldn't stop laughing. Every character just kind of like owned the screen.
Yeah,
Even Hulk had really great moments.
yes, like I I was watching some of it, like some clips from it, and it's just like they really tried to make everyone be funny in that film because there was a bit where, like, obviously when they're trying to save Asgard, obviously there's a bit where they're flying over and Banner obviously isn't hulked out yet, and he says to the goers, "I'll show you who I really am," and he jumps out and he just falls flat on his face and just crumples on the rainbow bridge in front of the
Yeah,
wolf, and then the wolf jumps over him, and the next thing you know, the wolf's being thrown backwards,
yeah.
and it's just
I
like
think
that's very not. That's not the Banner that we knew to start with.
I mean, I've yeah, because like in the first Avengers film, it was like, oh yeah, when I want to, yeah, I can change. Because
Hmm.
obviously there was that moment where he stopped the big serpent thing.
Oh, that was
Don't
so
know what it's
badass.
called.
I'm always
Yeah,
angry.
but I think that was kind of meant to be. Because did you see the Incredible Hulk film?
I had seen them. I can't really remember them.
Well, in the one with the Abomination, and like where he just has like this massive fight. There is like he jumps from an airplane trying to change, but then he smashes straight into the pavement,
Hmm.
like the concrete street or just whatever it is, and then he's just Hulk,
Yeah.
which I think was meant to be like a little tie-in, like, oh yeah, remember this? But I think it does kind of like, wait, at the end of that film, I thought he was in control, and that's why he can do all that stuff in Avengers.
Yeah. I
So
think he is. I don't know. Maybe it's because, like, obviously in the film he'd been Hulk so long,
mm,
and then obviously when he came out of it, Hulk was a bit peeved off with him, so he was going to make him suffer a little bit beforehand.
maybe yeah, that might have just been what it is. He's just like, huh, fuck you, Banner.
Pretty much.
But
That
yeah,
sounds like something the Hulk would do.
I mean, every character was good. Valkyrie was a really good addition because in the comics she's a great character. In this film, she's amazing
Yeah.
because it's just like, do you remember in like the first film there was just so many kind of like Asgardian moments with Thor where he was just like such a weird and strange guy to these normal humans.
Yeah, because he didn't know he acted how he would in Asgard.
Yeah, or there was like it was kind of like that. It was like got switched over with Thor being this kind of normal guy, but Valkyrie was just like this really strange yet funny character who just like. Do you remember in the first Thor film there was the whole beer thing, like where he would just down the beer?
I think so. Yeah.
In this film, there's literally a scene where Valkyrie says, because she doesn't want to talk to Thor that much, and she says, "Right, you can talk to me until I finish this drink," and it's massive. It's like twice the size of her,
Yeah.
and she literally like tips it back. Thor says about 5 words, and she's finished. And I just thought, oh, that's perfect. That is a great character right there.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, they do
every
know how to do their characters when it comes to the films.
yeah, everything was great about Thor Ragnarok. I got it. I do wish they hadn't gotten rid of that hammer.
Yeah. They said, I'm sure it'll
Um,
be back very quickly.
yeah, probably. But besides that, I think
Yeah.
that's it for the best films.
That's it for the ones that we chose, yeah. I know
Yeah,
there was loads that came out last year, so we compiled a little bit of a list.
yeah,
But like,
there were tons of good films. Transformers: The Last Night was not one of them. It was
no, I haven't
terrible.
heard good things at all about it.
No, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
They're just trying to push films out in the franchise now. I think that's supposed to be the last one, isn't it?
Uh, they advertised it like, "Oh, it's the last one," and then right at the end of the film, they're like, "There could be another."
Yeah.
So I hope they don't.
I think they're just. Like I said, they've gone downhill since the beginning.
Yeah, we just shouldn't talk about it. It's just awful.
Yeah. And obviously, they did quite a few like weird, creepy films last year. Obviously, we had It, was just no, a big no no. I'm not
No,
scared of
no,
clowns. I'm not
huh?
scared of clowns. I'm not scared of clowns at all. Like, I'm
No.
not that type of person, but still, nah. It's just no.
Of course, there were other good films. John Wick, Lego Batman, Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of good ones. But I feel like being able to specifically talk about the ones we enjoyed the most
Makes it easier, I suppose.
just gets we get to express our feelings. And of course, like not many people would agree with us, so being able to give our unique opinion, maybe there are some people out there who are going to agree. Like lots of people didn't like Justice League. Maybe someone out there's like, I like Justice League. Yeah,
Get all excited about it and join in with you.
yeah,
Yeah, obviously, and I don't know if we had any views on the last one, but if we did, obviously we appreciate feedback. I
yeah.
think the only views that I had were you, because you were checking what I did with the editing, and then a couple of our friends, but still, any
Yeah.
feedback would be appreciated. Any films that we haven't mentioned that you really enjoyed, go forth, comment, show us
And
how
if
you
there's
felt.
anything you want us to do in the future, please let us know.
Yeah, but I think that's where we're going to call it for today.
Yeah,
So I hope you guys have enjoyed.
I did.
We, yeah, no, I'm enjoying doing this. It's been,
Yeah.
it's nice just sitting and chatting because I haven't done any other recording this week because Jack decided to kick and break his dongle at the beginning of the week, so he didn't have internet for a couple of days. So we haven't done any recording for any other stuff at the moment. But no, it's been really good. It's good, and I know Jack wants to start a podcast at some point, doing something. So I do like these podcast type things. They're nice. You can do little things on the side at the same time. But
Hopefully, be entertaining for people.
yeah. So hopefully you've seen this Saturday, guys. If not, happy Monday and enjoy the rest of your week. And there'll be a episode hopefully on time coming to you Friday after this one goes up.
Yeah.
And
Look
I
forward to it.
think we're I think we're going to be reviewing games of 2017 as well. Not
Yeah,
really
that
reviewing at them, just looking back before we start
but
moving on to more current things.
yeah, but apart from that, I guess that's it.
Yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed. Is it leave a like if you have. If not, dislike it obviously, because yeah, otherwise we don't know. Preferably, if
Yeah.
you dislike it, leave a comment to let us know why you don't like it and what you would like us to possibly change. But
If
subscribe
you
for
was
more, and
yeah.
we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
My face above the water, my feet can't touch the ground.